Hey there friends, I wanted to give you a tour of my small garden on May 14th. It's really starting to warm up now. It's 75 degrees today, a little windy, but it feels like the past couple of weeks have been nice. It is warming up and a very exciting time to start. So this is a brand new garden. I built this fence mainly to keep the dogs out. The dogs keep the rabbits and all the varmints away, but got to keep the dogs out of the garden. So I built this very simply. This plans all over the internet, just with some concrete, some wood, and some wire fencing. Let's take a look inside. All right, we'll start at this end of the garden. This was the first bed that was planted. Last autumn, when I built the fence, I placed a bunch of layers of landscaping fabric over here. Not ideal. I'd prefer just a silage tarp, one piece that would cover this whole square. But I didn't have that, so I used what I had in some landscape tarp, and that did well. It killed most of the weeds. As you can see here, there's some grass seed left over from here. I didn't do anything to prep it. I did some broad forking. So I just took a broad fork across this bed here and the second. And then in February, March, I started planting some spinach. So I've got spinach in that end, which we'll go over in a second. And here, I've got a couple of rows of spinach that didn't quite do so well. I also planted kale, as you can see, and for some reason, something's attacking these. I think it's ants. Ants don't usually attack plants, but they can disrupt the root system when they're burrowing and making colonies and whatever. So I'll just find that the kale plants are dying and you just pull them out. There's not attached by anything, and then they die. So cut my losses here, and what I'll end up doing is probably clear out the rest of the spinach, add some compost, as you can see in those other beds, and we can start over here. On this end, I've got these nice healthy potatoes. These were planted probably 3 weeks ago. You can see some small ones are just starting to come up. They're a mixture between seed potatoes and potatoes that I got at the supermarket, just to see how it would go. They're Yukon Gold, I believe, and I wasn't really expecting those to do well because I think they coat them with a sprout inhibitor. So we'll see how that does. You can see there's some spotty, some places where the potatoes started to grow late, that is. Right here, there feels like it's just starting. Over there, it's just starting. And there's a couple places that haven't come up yet. Will they come up? I don't know. We'll see. These definitely are from the seed potatoes. They did well, healthy right off the bat. They were first up, and they're the biggest. These are spinach that I planted at the end of February. These were the first to go in. And right now, I mean, there's so much spinach here that I'm having a full salad of spinach every single day, and I just can't keep up. So I'm going to start blanching it, freezing it, and it'll be good in the fridge, even if I do nothing to it. Oh, the taste on these is absolutely incredible. Compared to spinach that you would get at a store, oh, it's smooth, it's texture, it's creamy. It makes store-bought spinach taste like nothing. I've got some weeds in here, but I try to stay on it every day. If I see some, I'll pick them. It's a long, slow, not really a tedious battle because I don't do it too often. On this side here, I've got my garlic that I planted in October, maybe November of 2023, and they're doing great. I mean, some of this goes up to my ribs. Right, these are some healthy plants. What I have noticed, though, is that some of them are starting to lean over and fall over on their side. You can see here I've tied this one to see if I can get it back on track. I'm not too concerned. The leaves look healthy, everything looks great. They're just falling over. Maybe they're just too big. Maybe the soil is too loose, which is, I guess it's a possibility. There's some horse manure on that with some leaves. The leaves are starting to decompose now, so it should be just the regular soil. Now we'll come over here. You can see two beautiful rows. Two beautiful rows, one of carrots. Carrots along this side here, direct sown with the Jang cedar, and that was around the same time as I planted the spinach, the end of February. Same thing with these two rows of spinach. They were directly sown with the Jang, and that's why I did it long. If I was hand sowing, I might do vertical stripes instead of two long ones, but because I have a Jang cedar, it was just easier to do two goes and then all set. It's very healthy spinach. I'm going to let these grow out to get big spinach leaves, and I may even let a couple seed through, I don't know, maybe July. It'll probably be done by July, maybe August. We'll see. I haven't saved spinach seed yet, so that's going to be a first for me this year. I've got two types of carrots here. The one closest to me is a traditional sweet orange carrot. I've grown them before. Incredible. Same lines as the spinach. Right? Compared to carrots that you'd get at the store, those taste like nothing. So these are really, really incredible. That's why I got a whole row, and then there's some sprinkled in here that didn't do so well. And then this row here is a variety I've never grown before, and if I get close here, you can see they're purple. So this is a really deep purple carrot. I think they're quite slender. We'll see how they do and how they grow, how they taste. Really, really good for you. You've got those, what makes blueberries blue, purplish, procyanin or something like that, whatever. Cyano something. And then we'll go over to this side here. I did direct sow beets in this section. None of them came up. They were old beet seed, so yeah, I kind of expected it. I've got beet transplants on the other side of the shed over there growing. So in a couple of weeks, once they start showing the first true leaves, maybe the second set, I'll transplant these out here for a harvest in the next month and a half, 2 months. Here is my first time growing celery. These are doing really well. When I first transplanted them about a week ago, I was questioning if they were going to make it, but now they look great. These look like they need some water. They look dry, wilted a little bit, so as soon as the video ends, I'm going to give these guys some water. These are broccoli here as well. And down on this end, didn't do so well, direct seeded. Here I've got some bok choy, which looks good. I think I planted it too late. It might bolt right away, we'll see. And then here are these acorn squash. They don't seem to be doing very well. For whatever reason, they might pull through. Maybe it's still a little cold for them. I'm not sure, but the new growth looks good. It's just these older leaves that are looking like they're having a bit of trouble. I don't have anything in these beds just yet. In this bed here, and here what I'm doing is I've got transplants. And I've got this fleece over them because they're brand new. I just transplanted these yesterday. So the sun is really intense for them. They've never seen sunlight before yesterday, so I've got a fleece covering them. And that stops a lot of the rays. You can see it's kind of shaded underneath there. They're doing very, very well. I've got 5 different varieties, like a golden cherry. I think, I've written down here. Let me see what it is. Origa, I don't know. Aura, like the sun, maybe. I've got Jet Star, which is a beefier beefsteak kind of tomato, and then a black beauty, which is again like a dark variety. I haven't grown any of these varieties before, so we'll see how they do. I've got what I'm going to do after the camera goes off is I'm going to take a string and I'm going to bury them underneath. I'm not going to disturb them too much because I just planted them yesterday. I'm not too worried about disturbing them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant a string underneath them and then run them up here and stake them at the top. Tomatoes, from my past experience, are really, really messy if you don't keep on them. So I'm going to train them all the way up and down if they need to. Same thing with cucumbers. These are going to be tomatoes, cucumbers, and on the end closest to the camera where you are is going to be sugar snap peas. And I'm going to, again, train them up either a string, or for the peas I might wrap around these two stakes and kind of hug them into a barrier. And all of these are going to be peppers. I'm big into growing peppers. And we'll see, the spinach, that'll be done probably within a month. I'm not going to seed all of them, so I'm going to have to find something else to go in there. Maybe some lettuce, maybe more kale. I just ordered some red Russian kale for salad mix. I like salads every day, so when spinach isn't going to be in season, I'm going to want something. So that's going to be a good choice, I think. Red Russian kale, I've grown before. Okay, last thing I could really show you in this small garden is my compost pile, my compost heap. I've never made compost before, so this is an experiment for me. It seems to be doing quite well. I'm mixing about a quarter brown ingredients like dry leaves and sticks and stuff, sawdust, with 3/4 green, so lawn clippings and vegetable kitchen scraps. And it seems to be doing good. I mean, I can't put my finger inside the compost heap. It's too hot. So it is definitely getting hot enough to kill any weed seeds. So I'm excited to see what I've got at the beginning of next year. Maybe December it'll be ready and I'll be able to cast that along the beds for next year. And here is the same principle that I'm doing with the tomatoes. So I have a couple of cucumbers in here, the beet seedlings that I was telling you about, and the same reason, just to make it less intense, the sun's radiation less intense here. Maybe within a couple hours I'll bring them back inside. I've heard you don't really need to get them acclimated really to the sun and the wind, but maybe it's just one of those things I've always done because I've had good luck. I do know that the sun can be quite intense if you go from fluorescence to the sunlight. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. I'll do another video. I think I need a new lens or somebody to help me record, but I'll keep you posted on how this goes and do another tour maybe in a month. Thanks for watching.